Hello, what's up, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor, and today I'm going to show you two different projects that you can do with your scrap materials. Today we're sewing downstairs in my dining room area because my friend was over recently and had me emergency fix a lot of his clothes, mostly like small tears or whatever. So my sewing machine's down here, and I figured instead of hauling it back upstairs, I would just do it down here. So that's hence the scenery change, but that's aside from the point. To start off, we are going to make a Kindle sleeve. So let's get right on into it. So the first thing I did to get started with this project was iron every single one of my fabric scraps. They've been sitting in a bundle for a while and they were super wrinkly, so I figured doing this was my best bet. Then I took my strips and made sure they were as even as possible because I'm going for a kind of checkerboard, kind of patchwork vibe for my Kindle case. So I figured I should try to make them pretty even. It'll make it easier sewing and cleaning up and whatnot. And that is what you are seeing. Most of these fabric scraps are things that I've gotten over the years from thrifting. If you've seen my videos, you know that my savers loves to bundle scrap fabrics together, and I love that personally because I literally use them for so many things. Once my strips were, to size, I sewed them all together, starting with 2 at a time, and then once I got set to 2s, I matched up those together, basically trying to make one giant textile out of a bunch of different ones. The best way to explain this is I took each strip facing right sides together and sewed one way, the long way down. Then I took those now one piece that was made out of 2 pieces, took two piecers. This is gonna get a little confusing and I'm sorry in advance. But basically, you take those 2 piecers, you face those ones right sides together, you do the same thing, you sew it down, bam, new textile. Once I got everything together as one giant piece of fabric, I ironed the entire thing, and then I did what is called a stitch in a ditch. And if you don't know what that is, basically, I am tracing the seam line with my sewing needle on my machine. I don't think I got any footage of it really, to be quite honest with you. I don't know how I forgot to do that. Here is our lovely textile, and now I'm going to do what I think you guys will be a little heartbroken to see. It's time to cut it to strips. And this is what is going to make our patchwork look like patchwork, because it can't be patchwork if it's just stripes, right? So I realized all my scraps, I did not really have enough to do exactly what I wanted. So you'll see later on, I end up adding solid strips of fabric to my patchwork thing, but I kind of like the look. So here we're sewing them now the exact same thing we did before, but now with a patchwork piece and a non-patchwork piece. And then when I'm done with those, I'm gonna piece those together as well. This was a bit of tedious work between all of the pressing and then sewing and then attaching, pressing, stitching, and ditching. But at the same time, I do think I like the concept. I do really want to try to make a quilt, and I think I've talked about this numerous times on my channel, and this was kind of like baby steps into it. Nothing really insane, but it's a lot of work. This project, I think I was brainstorming over maybe 3 days, and I did make a completely different patchwork piece that I ended up not using because I figured they were all random squares, and I thought it was gonna work better, but it just didn't. A lot of my pieces ended up crooked, mostly because I didn't take the time to trim them. So learn from my mistakes, if you will. Once all of my strips were attached to some solid ones, I attached solid sides to patchwork sides and patchwork sides to solid sides. It's a little confusing saying it out loud, but when you see the textile that I made, you will understand, I think, because you will see exactly what I mean by it's striped with patchwork and non-patchwork. Then I have these black scrap fabrics that I have from when I was trying to make cloth fabric masks. That was the wrong fabric for mask, let's just say that. You could not breathe through it, but it was going to be perfect as an inner lining for this Kindle sleeve. These are scraps that I made about 4 years ago in the beginning of the pandemic, but long story short, I am very happy to be able to use these scraps for something as opposed to them just sitting in my scrap fabric basket. Basically just cut around the size of the black fabric, which is just a little bit bigger than my Kindle. And honestly, at this point, I wish I did this a little bit differently. Instead of doing what I did, which was to sew basically mini pouches and attach the black to the patchwork side, I should have just done everything right sides facing together because the inner lining doesn't matter, and sewn it that way. I did way too many unnecessary steps for this. I did really want to stitch in a ditch on my patchwork side with the black fabric behind it because one of my fabric scraps, the really light blue piece, is a very, very, very delicate material and it just rips so easily. It was originally curtains that I thrifted, and that's mostly why I wanted to make sure like these were super, super well attached. Here I'm just indicating that I'm going to do a stitch in a ditch off camera, and then this is about the moment when I realized this might not work exactly the way I want it to, but I decided to persevere anyways. I sewed up 3 sides of my Kindle case. I decided maybe it's a little bulky when I inside it out. I will just cut off all those seams I did. So that is what you are seeing here. So here is the Kindle case. As you can see, when I take my Kindle out, my clear case is no longer on it, and it is a very snug fit. I do think that I can make this like pouch into something different, but we'll see. And for the final project, we are going to be doing none other than a mousy cat toy. Absolutely, you should have expected this. You guys know I have 3 cats. So I took a pen and then I traced a teardrop-ish shape out on this fabric, cut it out, and then I took this really cool rope that I bought from Joann's specifically for this project. And I tied a knot on one end to indicate the end of the tail. This rope material wants to unravel easily, so doing this will kind of stop it from doing that. I took the rope, put it inside of the mouse shape with the right sides facing each other, and then we started sewing along this teardrop shape. Of course, you do want to leave a gap, not just for insetting out your toy, but also for stuffing it. So once I put a few extra security stitches on the tail because I know how my cat is with cat toys. Now I'm just showing you that the tail is super secure in there, and now we are going to inside it out. I would suggest a larger hole maybe if you don't have super small hands. I struggled with this a little bit and then had to cut off some of my excess on the seams just to get everything to fit properly. Here I'm just showing you that I nipped the tip of the mouse face because it was a corner and now it's kind of flat. And here I'm just showing you this general shape of the mouse. I just grabbed some catnip because I figured, why not spoil my boy a little bit and give him a little of that good. So I got him some of this catnip that is called Meow Joanna. I got it from Petco, and he loves this stuff. I don't really give it to him often, and sometimes when I give new toys to Bubby, our boy cat, he loves them because they're usually full of that good stuff. So yeah, here I stuffed it with the catnip in between, sewed it together, and now my boy, he is so happy. I kid you not, he played with this for maybe 2 hours yesterday, and then I made him another one, and he was trying to play with it while I was making it. And it has ears, and I'll put a picture right here so you can see, but he is very, 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 very satisfied with the outcome of this project. So if you have cats that love toys and you don't want to spend money on them, this is a great way to use up some of those extra fabrics or extra materials that you might have laying around the house. Because, you know, you never know. And like, seriously, just look at how happy he is. He literally was running around like crazy with this thing. And that brings us to the very end. I think that there's a few other things like cat toy shapes I do want to experiment with, especially like the one that I did with the ears. It's like the perfect type of really interactive toy for him because he likes to chew on the ears. I put some of the catnip inside of the ears as well as the body of that one. And it's safe to say it is now probably one of his new favorite toys. He kept finding other toys last night and then bringing them with that toy and then just carrying them all over the house and being crazy with it. If you're not prepared for your cat to have zoomies all night, maybe don't put catnip inside of it. But sometimes cats really do enjoy that sweet little treat. Anyways, I just want to thank everyone for subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for 472 subscribers. We're really close to 500, which I really never thought I'd get this far. And I really appreciate all the comments and feedback on my videos as well. I do respond to most comments, so if you do leave a comment, you might get a reply. And with that, I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye!